Meaningful synchronicity. The most private invitation. An essay by James MAHU. Question: what exactly is the meaning and value of the concept we call synchronicity? Answer: first, we must agree that we live in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Then, we must also believe that we are imbued with free will. Next, we must believe that we are living examples of our transparency to our soul self, or what I like to call the sovereign integral. When our beliefs encompass these three things, we can experience and understand meaningful synchronicity. Synchronicity takes multiple forms in the physical world. One example is how the future is foreseen by our subconscious, and this insight is passed to our imaginations, and we can thereby configure our future. In other words, it is our future that is creating our infinite now in this particular space-time. In effect, our future is writing the script of our present-day life. Now, the real question is which future? There are an infinite number within dimensions too numerous to even imagine. Which future of ourself, our inner self, do we allow our imaginations to see, to wonder about, to love, to admire, to want to emulate, to live? Which future? Synchronicity is an outgrowth of this phenomenon. The near-term flashes of synchronicity that involve things like, I was just thinking about that, or what a coincidence that this or that happened at this particular moment. It's like viewing life at a crossroads where future and present suddenly merge and we can see their overlap, where they coexist. These are from a future self that may only be 10 minutes ahead or perhaps a year. However, in the longer term, where synchronicity is particularly meaningful and valuable is when we can imagine our future selves in the most favorable light, where we see ourselves as all of unity and one of individualism. A present sovereign and a future integral. This is the form of synchronicity that is sought for by our higher selves, the part of us where we feel coherent, aligned, and in tune with the intelligence that surges through all life. When we can flick the light switch on and shine the light on our innermost self, that part of us that is the whole of us, it begins to interact with our human self. It speaks to us. It pulls us into its belief system not with words, but there is a finer substance, more resilient than any matter, more of an infinite spacetime where things understood are vast, long-lived and formative. This substance is synchronicity, our future self as a realized identity that we can live in while being human, using the human mind and heart. This synchronicity is important to cultivate, and it can be. It is not about manifesting the future in terms of materiality or even health. It is about living, to the best of our abilities, as our future self in our present, infinite moment, in whatever space-time we exist as an individualized being. In doing this, we will find our belief in the future is ever evolving in the direction of a universal intelligence. Not the belief that the earth is healed and we are all living as jubilant angels on earth. Rather, it is an emerging vision into what consciousness is, fractured yet unified, fractal yet creative and divergent. Dimensional beyond imagination. The future of ourselves is contained in the present of ourselves, and the future is our choice. Which of ourselves do we allow to write our present-day script? Which of our future selves do we invite to interact with? Let me be clear, our future self is not the one that is elderly in this lifetime. It is the one without age or definition by space-time that integrates with our human self. That future self is what we can invite into our present life. Once this invitation is resolutely made, where our heart and mind are committed, we can then watch for the synchronicities that emerge in our lives, where the words, music, colors find our senses, and activate our recognition, our will, our sense of being merged and aligned with this higher self. There is no machine, mantra, technique, or technology that can do this. It can only be done by the willful choice of the individual, and that is because the act of invitation is the key. This invitation, the specific kind I am speaking of, can only be made without a single atom outside of you standing between you and your higher self when your invitation is made. It is the most private thing in all the world, yet it unleashes the most profound expression of love and kindness. This is when synchronicity is most meaningful. When we understand how to make the invitation heard, felt, and understood by our future self. And why do we do this? Are we escaping? Beam me up to a higher plane of consciousness? Those are atoms between us. As we now know, we cannot have even a single atom between us and our future self when we make this invitation. Our motive is singular and core. It is to live our lives as the one, many, and all consciousness to the best of our abilities throughout spacetime. There is nothing more, and nothing less. Everything else is secondary. Yet those things that are secondary remain vital in our lives. Things like family and career. Yet, they are secondary, because if this invitation is extended, all of those secondary elements are made clearer in order to understand them better. And it is this understanding that benefits all of the secondary elements in our life. How do we know if we are ready to make such a momentous invitation? We desire it, knowing of its fundamental change in our lives. Knowing this commitment is the brightest star in our local universe. Knowing it is completely decoupled from every outside influence. There is our desire, our future self, and an invitation. That is all that is required, and more than this is too much. This is what meaningful synchronicity boils down to. Its distillation. It is the gathering of these three things: desire, our future self, and an invitation. Yet, how we employ these three things makes the difference in the conduct and behavior that follows. And this is because we can activate many, many future selves that are indeed future selves, but not the future self. And this is fine. We activate the script writer that we can bear. It also means that as we evolve, we must extend this invitation repeatedly, always striving to penetrate to the self that is all. The phenomena that surrounds us in the physical world is one dimension in an infinite world of dimensions. Synchronicity is the way we know that our finite and infinite dimensions are interconnected within our local universe. That we can play a role in unifying them. In bringing them together. And this role is not played on the stage of a single lifetime. It becomes our future, our present, and our past. Our existence is this, unifying the finite and infinite. This is the real phenomenon that we truly care about if we choose to make this invitation. All of the other threads that connect us to religion, philosophy, survival, metaphysics, science, medicines, biology, society, culture, and family, all of these are secondary, outside influences. They matter. They paper the walls of our local universe. Yet, they remain clustered around the core of us, and in that core is our future self, the sovereign integral consciousness. This becomes primary. We are here to activate this core with us through the extension of our very human, private invitation.